Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. Today we're going to go through the new releases I'm excited for in Q1 of 2026. I have 15 books to go through, ranging from romantasy, fantasy, sci-fi and horror. So let's get down to it. And if you hear any racket, that's my cat behind the camera playing with a toy. On the 20th of January, we have A Box Full of Darkness by Simone St. James. I have only read a couple of Simone St. James's books, but I'm quite a fan of her writing style. It seems to scratch the itch for me. The dual timeline, the cold cases, and the supernatural elements are such a fun ride for me. And it seems as though A Box Full of Darkness will fulfill my hopes in that respect. Strange things are happening in Fell, New York, with a mysterious drowning at a roadside motel, a young girl being found at the railway tracks, and the disappearance of a small boy during a game of hide and seek with his 3 siblings. 2 decades later, Ben is back and he's ready to give them the answers that they've always needed. On the 22nd of January, we have We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bauer. This debut is set after the world has ended and eldritch creatures thrive, hunting the humans that are left. Sarah and her family have survived so far by utilising folklore and pagan rituals. However, everything is turned upside down when a young woman, Parsley, appears in their garden, seemingly out of nowhere. When Sarah finds herself drawn to Parsley, she has to question if she can be trusted in a world without humanity. On the 27th of January, we have The Wolf and the Crown of Blood by Elizabeth May. The start of a new series by the author of To Cage a God follows a princess and a war-weary god as they meet in the ashes of a broken city, forcing them to forge a pact in blood and sacrifice. In a world where royal blood is the currency of peace, Bryony must die again and again in sacrifice to appease the gods. When desire blooms between the two, their connection threatens to break the fragile boundary between gods and mortals. Let's move on to some February releases I'm quite looking forward to. On the 3rd of February, we have Queen of Faces by Petra Lord. This dark academia fantasy follows a desperate girl at a cutthroat magical academy, facing a choice between life and death. She must either become an assassin for the enchanted elite or watch her decaying body draw its last breath. Annabelle is trapped in a male body, one that's rotting from the inside, and sadly she can't afford to replace her body in a world where the magical elite buy and swap designer bodies like clothes. Another release on the 3rd of February is The Darkness Greeted Her by Christina Furco. This YA sapphic horror debut follows a group of troubled girls as they are stalked through the Appalachian wilderness. When Camp Whitewood, a woodland exclusive summer therapy retreat, gets weird and intense, the girls find themselves face to face with a frightening monster that feeds on their deepest fears and uses their traumas against them. Releasing on the 5th of February is Salt Swept by Catalina Watt. A ragtag crew and a perilous quest. This vibrant debut is the first book in an epic fantasy duology based on Southeast Asian mythology, featuring found family, swashbuckling heroes, and high sea adventures. As a pirate, a farmer, an acolyte, a pickpocket, and a talking otter cat band together to find the mysterious treasure hidden in the middle of a raging whirlpool. But can there truly be honour amongst thieves? On the 10th of February, we have To the Death by Andrea Tang. 2 teens are pitted against each other in a magical duel for revenge in this fantasy thriller. Sam is looking for revenge for her brother's death, whilst Tamsin is trapped in her father's legacy. The two find themselves not only fighting in the arena, but they're growing attractions for one another, while Sam hides her true plans. One that has particularly caught my attention comes out on the 10th of February, and that's Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinnerman. So a man finds himself fighting for his planet against impossible odds when gamers from Earth attempt to remotely annihilate it. As a fan of Earth television and culture, Oliver is beyond excited when the transfer gate is open between his planet and Earth. But the Earth government has its own plans, a game called Operation Bounce House. Rounding up the February releases that are on my radar is on the 24th of February, Love in Ruins by Oriana de Somba. After a recent OCD diagnosis and breakup, a teen girl embarks on a trip to Greece with her best friend when she meets a captivating local girl. Romance is the last thing Natalie planned for her summer bucket list. However, she must decide whether to follow her heart and risk ruining her friendships for good. Moving into our March releases, we start on the 5th of March with The Last Starborn Seer by Venetia Constantine. Lilani Celeron is cursed and the last surviving member of an ancient bloodline in this romantasy debut, starting a series that is sure to grip readers from page 1. As an heir to a tainted throne, Lilani is thrust into an arranged marriage with her childhood rival. However, when a prophecy reveals the existence of a relic she needs, Lilani starts out a perilous journey that will change everything. The 10th of March brings us Witch of the Shadow Wood by Toni Ann Martin. In this feminist, cozy, romantasy retelling of the classic fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, we follow two women as they fall in love against all odds, as witchcraft, magic and family wealth create barriers to the young lovers. On the 19th of March, we have You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mum by Vincent Tirado. When a patriarch of the wealthy Abreu family dies, he gives the family one last message in the will. One of you is El Baka, the demon that I made a deal with. Get rid of them or you will be damned. And with this, the family finds themselves with an impossible task. Uproot the demon and somehow kill it, or excise the ghosts that linger within their family. And the clock is ticking. On the 17th of March, we have Immorata. I need to double check how to pronounce that. By Ava Reid. So Ava Reid is back with book 1 of the new House of Teeth duology. This dark romance explores the perils of forbidden love in a gothic, necromantic world. Once there was an island where the dead walked the earth. However, now only 2 remain of the family, and Agnes carries her family's legacy on her shoulders. When the final of her family's orders is simply that she must not fall in love, Agnes is horrified to find herself falling for the Golden Prince. And lastly, we have 3 books coming out on the 24th of March, starting with Wretch, or The Unbecoming of a Porcelain Core by Eric LaRocca. Eric LaRocca returns with a hallucinatory tech gothic fever dream, following recently widowed Simeon as he tries to overcome the grief of losing his husband. Simeon soon finds himself seeking comfort in an unusual support group, the Wretches. The relief is addictive and dangerous, leaving him with a decision that no one wants to have to make. Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. Something darker than the devil stalks the North Carolina wood in this gothic horror set in 1899. Sonia Wilson is a scientific illustrator without work, so when she is offered a position by the reclusive Dr. Holder, she jumps at the chance to move to his manor house and illustrate his insect collection. When she discovers his obsession in parasitic maggots that burrow into human flesh, everything changes. Ew. And finally, You Did Nothing Wrong by C.G. Drews. Domestic bliss unravels with dire consequences in C.G. Drews' first adult book, following single mother Elodie as her life becomes a genuine fairy tale after she meets Bren, the perfect man. Whisking her and her autistic son Jude to his crumbling family home, Elodie is thrilled to be involved in the renovations. However, Jude starts to hear voices in the walls. The house is talking to him and the renovations are hurting it. So there we have 15 upcoming books that are interesting to me through January to March. Are any of them on your watch list? Any of them ones you're now interested in? Let me know in the comments, or any that I've missed off my list. Whilst you're down there, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye!